Welcome to this guided meditation on awareness of sensations in the body and the associated feeling tones that arise with those sensations. The body is a wonderful teacher, and the lessons that we may explore in this guided meditation are first simply the impermanence of all sensations that arise, change, pass away in the body. The other important lesson is that with each sensation, there comes a feeling tone. Just before even thinking, an initial feeling of positive, negative, or maybe neutral. Maybe there's no feeling tone. So we can notice that for everything that comes up, from perhaps a pleasant feeling tone around the sensation of our breath, to an unpleasant feeling tone that arises with perhaps pressure in the knee, that there are these little feeling tones happening all the time. And it's really important that we begin to notice those, because it's in that moment when we're not aware that we then flip into reactivity of either grasping at pleasant or averting with unpleasant. So being able to be more tuned into sensations in the body and also noticing the associated feeling tones can help us to just simply allow those to arise and to be, but then to not move into reactivity. So please begin by establishing ourselves in mindfulness using the breath. So taking a comfortable sitting posture, upright, your shoulders back and relaxed, chin tucked. And just having an attitude with your meditation posture that says, I'm open. I can accommodate whatever arises, whatever types of sensations and feeling tones arise. We want to be curious. We want to be awake to what's happening. So set an intention for your meditation to be very present to what's arising without judgment, and in fact to notice that if we forget our intention, as soon as we remember, we've become aware again, we've woken up. So our intention now is to sit with a relaxed body, keeping our attention on the breath, and notice the sensations in the body and the feeling tones. So we'll begin with a bell. And let these sounds of the bell just bring your attention to rest with the sound itself. So bringing your awareness into your body, feeling the connection with your cushion or your chair, your feet with the ground, just feeling very solid, very connected with the earth. And noticing the energy in the body, just in general, that sense of perhaps vibration, aliveness. Just really feeling the experience of inhabiting the body. And relaxing any areas of the body that commonly hold tension for you. So if it's the eyes, just soften the eyes, loosen the jaw, relax the shoulders, soften the belly, and just breathe naturally. And as the mind and body become more relaxed, letting your attention rest with the breath itself, following the sensation of the in-breath and the out-breath. Noticing the beginning of the in-breath, the rising moment of the abdomen, the middle and the end of the in-breath. And then seeing if you can catch the beginning of the out-breath or the falling movement. And noticing the very subtle space between the breaths. So just a very fine focus on the entire in-breath, a little space, the entire out-breath, and just holding your attention there at present. This is going to be our resting place for this meditation. So any time that we find that we've gotten lost, that the mind has wandered, we can simply realize that once we become aware of this, we've woken up. So that's a good thing. And notice that difference in feeling between perhaps being lost in thought and then coming back to awareness, waking up to the practice. Notice how that feels to wake up again and again. And noticing how each breath is a little different. Maybe a little longer or shorter, a little deeper or slower. Not trying to force anything, but just breathing naturally, but simply just being very aware of the sensation of each breath. So now we'll expand the field of our attention to include other physical sensations besides the breath. So not forcing anything, but while you're focusing on the breath, if another physical sensation starts competing with the breath for your attention, simply let your attention rest upon that sensation with the same concentration and care we've had on the breath. So it can be any physical sensation. It could be an itch, a feeling of pressure, an ache, a pain, a sensation of heat or cold. Or perhaps there's nothing really arising for you, and in that case, simply stay with the sensation of the breath. And as you observe these sensations that may be arising, try to be open to this sensation and just experience it instead of turning away from it or immediately doing something to stop it or getting lost in thinking about it. So if my arm is itching, for example, I wouldn't scratch it right away, but instead just observe it closely and with curiosity. Investigate the sensation that I call itching. Really feel it, the strength of it, the duration of it. Does it change? Does it subside? Just watch what happens. If you find you're experiencing what you'd call discomfort or pain, for example, in your hips or legs, then watch that feeling of pain or discomfort. Is it sharp and focused or more diffused? Is it a throbbing, a tightness, a shooting sensation? Is there a sense of heat or cold? Does it move or spread? Does the intensity change? These are just some suggestions on some ways to really explore the sensation, staying as relaxed as we can, trying not to become tight and tense if it's what we would consider to be a painful sensation. Just stay with that physical sensation until it becomes less pronounced. And then when that happens, just come back to the breath. And you might find it helpful to use some gentle noting to keep you focused on the sensations such as itch, ache, pressure, warmth. Pulsation. And now also beginning to notice that when a sensation arises, that there is what we call an associated feeling tone with that sensation. So if you're focused on the sensation of your breath, for example, you might have a pleasant feeling tone associated with that. And noticing that, there's a desire for that to continue. So not getting lost in any story about the breath or wanting this to go on forever, but just noticing that with that particular sensation, for example, there could be a positive feeling tone. There could be a sensation such as pressure in the knee that you become aware of, that there's a negative feeling tone. And it's really quite simple. It's just an immediate, just that feeling of positive, negative, or neutral. Don't have to evaluate it, judge it, and we're not trying to push away or hold on to those feeling tones. We just want to notice. As we notice the sensations, we want to notice that there is this feeling tone. There may be other sensations. For someone else, it might be the breath. That there's really no positive or negative. It's just neutral, or we may even feel indifferent or bored. But that's important to notice too. How is it that the mind, right at the onset of the sensation, how is the mind immediately beginning to react, positive, negative, or neutral? Before any more thinking, before emotions, before moving into any behaviors. That's a critical point to begin to identify for reactivity, is that feeling tone. So continue noticing the sensations and also notice the associated feeling tones. If an unpleasant sensation continues and it's found to just be too distracting, then it's better just to relieve the itch by scratching it or gently and mindfully move a limb that's in pain and begin again. We can always begin again in this meditation. There's no failure. We just want to come back and re-experience the moment again and again. So we work with what we can handle right now, moving beyond our edge when we're able. So we've been working primarily with sensations and their feeling tones, but now let's include in our awareness any sounds that we hear. So whether it's what we might consider a pleasant sound or an unpleasant sound, not looking at as an intrusion into our mindfulness meditation, but something that we can practice with. So just noticing any sounds. In the room, outside of the room, subtle, loud, and noticing how the sounds arise. And again, we may not initially notice them, but as we practice, we'll be more attuned to a sound as it's arising. The sounds may rest and then pass away. And can we just be open with whatever the sound is? Allow it to be. And noticing any feeling tone of pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And just rest in that noticing without wanting to make an unpleasant sound go away or a pleasant sound stay, without moving into stories or action. Noticing how it feels to be aware of these changing sensations, of changing sounds, and to be aware of the associated feeling tone, and to just simply allow all of that to be as it is without trying to grab on or push away. Just holding it all in awareness without moving into any reactivity. And now for the last minute of our meditation, just coming back to rest our attention on the breath. Relaxing any focus on anything specific in terms of sensations or sounds, but just a very open awareness of the body, breathing in and breathing out. Just relaxing the mind, relaxing the body.